Ladies and gentlemen, to the Gen3 Season 3 round at Sardegna for Racebook's GtSport League. We are currently in the midst of a practice session, which will go into a short qualifying session at 8 PM, which is in 3 minutes' time. It will be a 2 hot lap qualifying session. You'll have 2 laps, 1 out lap, 2 hot laps to get your time set. It will be very quick, very frantic. Everybody looking for some space on the track. It is a relatively short track, very technical track. So we will be looking for some pretty quick times. At the moment, we seem to be in the region of 1:18. Ghost of Sparta 23C is on the cusp of a 1:17. As you can see from our race director Adrian Reese, we are 3 minutes to the 2 hot lap qualifying session. Top of the timing sheet at the moment, we have both variants of the BMW, the M6 and the M3 GT3 variants, with Neil's, or should I say the Black Sheep 72's Subaru WRX in 3rd place. A lot of oversteer there, good grief. PR120 certainly putting some heat into his tyres there, and continuing to generate some heat in his tyres there. This is the retro livery round for this particular race, so you may well spot some very familiar liveries throughout the grid. Just scrolling through a few of them now. Here you can see we are imminently about to jump into the qualifying session. As you can see there, Malins 01 right at the very end of the session has just set a 1:17, so here's his time to beat so far. Let's see if he can pull off something similar in a qualifying session. And so here we are. This evening's entertainment will consist of a short qualifying session, followed by a roughly 14 lap sprint race of the Gen3As, which will be the reverse, that's the GT86. So the sprint race 1 will be the result of the qualifying session. And then feature race 1, which features the GT86s, will be a reverse of the qualifying grid. That is the first of our support races. So, hot off the blocks, Terrafit and Adrian Reese and Nakazawa straight out onto track, looking to set a quick lap time with a relatively clear track. Terrafit here has the benefit of a clear track in front of him. Let's see what he can do with it. Getting very close to the cameraman there, looking like he's going to try and take out the cameraman's position on the racetrack wall. Further back in the field, Nakazawa certainly looking like he wants to get going, not looking to be stuck behind Adrian Rees for his qualifying lap. Let's see if he backs off, and he will. Just giving him some space there at the end. And further back, Warriors 10 and GtSport just giving themselves a little more space. And you can see here, most of the grid now coming round to begin their lap. Still got one car in the pit box. Here's Mark Verstappen coming out of the pit box, trying to stay out of trouble. This is going to be very difficult for him. He's going to have to be very careful about how he gets out of the way of these quick cars coming through. And PR Wonder 20 still waiting to leave the pit box. Let's come round to Terrafit. He's beginning his first hot lap now, coming down to the final sector. His will be the time to beat for now. Nice and tidy on the inside curve and nice and tidy on the outside curve, looking good. And there we have a 120.1 from Terra. I'm sure he's looking to improve on this as we go back to Adrian Rees, who's going to cross the line. The 122, I think that was there. Let's just get ourselves up some lap times. A 118.4 immediately from Nakazawa, followed by a very quick. And here comes Malins as well, just as I say that, knocking Warriors 10 off of his second place position. Adrian Rees here, improving upon his time. So, going back to the top of the round. The Black Sheep 72, setting the fastest lap so far at 18.395. PR Wonder 20 now, I believe this will be his first hot lap. So he has the benefit of a nice clear track in front of him, ready to set a quick time. We still seem to have a car in the pit box. I'm not sure what part that will play in the proceedings. Potentially a technical issue with their car. However, new lap times coming through. Terrafit, having finished his, has pulled to one side. Let's have a quick look at the timing board. The Black Sheep still holding his first place grid position, with Nakazawa 0.012 behind. He doesn't look like he's going to improve upon that position. Let's see if the Black Sheep can improve on his, as the ginger one is about to cross the line and unfortunately does not improve. The Black Sheep crossing the line there, not improving either. We are waiting on Tribal 1981 as he comes through now, looking to set what is probably his second flying lap. Does have a time on the board. Oh no, he's pulling over. That must have been the end of his qualifying session. Here we have PR 120 looking to cross the line. Will he improve? This is looking good. And it does. Top of the leaderboard. Using the benefit of a clear and open track to plough to the top of the timing board. Unfortunately, we still have a car in the pit lane. This does not bode well for their qualifying chances. But let's go back to Mark Verstappen now, as he is now in Sector 3, looking to finish off his quick second lap. Doesn't look good so far. 118 is gone and 120 will be his final lap. Sporting a wonderful Disney Plus livery there. believe that is PR under 20 on an in lap now. I don't believe there is anybody left to finish a lap, so that is the grid order. So let's go back to the timing board. At the top we have PR under 20, the Black Sheep, and Nekizawa, our top three. Next to him we'll have the Ghost of Sparta 23, Malin 01. Seems to be a very good performance from the BMWs there. However, they do fill out a majority of the grid. And that is how we shall start the first of the Gen 3 Group A's, sorry, Generation Group 3 A's for their first sprint race. Now I wonder if we're just waiting now for Kenny 3390 to begin his hot laps. No, it doesn't appear so. Unfortunately, it looks like technical issues have prevented them from setting a qualifying time, so we will be going straight into the first of the sprint races. Good to see a good number of cars on track today. It seems to be that a majority of this evening's race cars are BMWs and Lexus. Strong showing from both factories. So as our first race begins, 7 AM on the Sunday morning. So a few warm-up laps just before the race begins. Everyone to get final adjustments sorted. Correct tyres, correct fueling. So as it stands at the moment, Nekizawa in his Lexus leads the way after a strong showing in every race so far, scoring maximum points in almost every race, with the exception of Miyabi in his Lexus. There's a grand total of 360 points at the moment, with Warriors 10 and Swinney just behind him. Unfortunately, Swinney not able to attend this evening's racing. However, his third position, or third place championship position, should I say, is under threat now from the nearest place cars behind him, which would be the Black Sheep 72 and PO under 20, only 30 or so points behind. So this should be a hot race for the championship, and hopefully a good race for both of those drivers as they seek to close in on the podium spot at the end of the year. So as these cars begin to circulate, just to finalise setups, get themselves correctly tuned in. The ginger one there giving it a lot of opposite lock through that final sector and corner sequence, getting the absolute most he can out of that GTR. Goodness me, Kenny 3390 seems to have fixed his immediate technical difficulties and has gone straight to the top of the timing. Whatever issues he was having seem to have been completely fixed and is now setting a blistering pace, should I say. That is the fastest lap time certainly I have seen so far, and seems to be keeping up his consistency, if not sending the back end of the car flying through that final sequence of corners. Absolutely pushing that M3 to the limit. As he sets another 118 flat or thereabouts. Certainly the most consistent on the limit of lap time driver that we've seen so far. Absolutely flying right now. As we go back through the rest of the grid, just take a chance to review some of the other liveries that we have this evening. Long-time sponsorship deal for Warriors 10 with Jack Daniels. It's a partnership that has worked very well for them over the last few years. Warriors 10 consistently putting in good results, obviously garnering great respect from his sponsor, making sure that their name appears on a good number of podiums throughout the years. So we have a ginger one here, his GTR seemingly parked at the end of T1. Not sure if that's a technical difficulty or other issue. Let's hope it's nothing terminal. And there we are, race officials warning us now, 2 minutes to start. And it seems the ginger one seems to have fired up the engine again, and is just trying to stay out of trouble for the meantime. And so as a majority of the cars now begin to work their way back to the pit lane, we await the race start. So for those of you that may not be aware, the reason we have a slightly sub-optimal GT3 grid is because these are balanced on a different set of performance parameters. My teeth in for those ones. They are heavier with more power to simulate a more supercar variant of the GT3. And the nose of that Subaru running very close to the ground there. It must be running an extremely low setup. Obviously working well for the Black Sheep after setting a blistering lap time in qualifying, only beaten by our later rivals. And there seems to be some confusion going down there at corner 1, but all to be resolved very quickly as the final begins. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, our starting grid right at the very top. PR120, he's absolutely superb lap time, coming in very late in the day for qualifying. As we wait for the green light at the beginning of the race, let us hope that everyone can get through turn one nice and cleanly. There we are, 5 red lights and green, go, go, go! As Nakazawa immediately breaks for the inside line, and the Black Sheep going around the outside. PR120 has been absolutely gobbled up on the way into turn one. 3 wide there. Oh, and a slightly sloppy exit for all involved, I think. Nakazawa now making a clean break with PR120 now consolidating his position in second. I was wondering there whether it was going to be a rather sloppy start, as I can hear the tyres screeching lower down the grid. Adrian Rees in Terra Fit there. Wheel-to-wheel action. As we go back up to the top of the grid, PR120 trying to make a move around the outside. And Nakazawa keeping it nice and clean there. As PR120 makes for a break down the inside, it's door to door. Goes to Sparta now, looking to capitalise on a mistake and competition for Nakazawa, and the Black Sheep looking to take advantage too. Frenetic stuff in the first lap. I wonder if that might be a track cut there for Nakazawa. Let's hope not. So after his initial promise there, the Black Sheep seems to have dropped back a little bit now. Mellon's 01 trying to make a move around the outside as well further back. Adrian Rees and Kenny 3390. Kenny gets the job done. Mellon's now trying to make a move on Black Sheep as he's holding him off now. And at the front of the grid, Nakazawa trying to make a move back again. Retaking the lead, but for how long? As we go into another right-hander, goes to Sparta, looking to capitalise on any mistake, any quarter given by these front two. Just a sniff of a chance would be enough at the moment to give anyone the race lead. Oh, that's not going to go, gentlemen. A lot of heaving and shoving. It's all fair racing so far, but I wonder how long this can go on for. The battling has been door to door so far. Now, what was that? Mellon's just taking a touch on the grass there. Yes, that's got him all out of sorts for the final corner. Will that be a track cut penalty for him? And it will be, just half a second, but that might be enough to drop him out of the race leading contention. As he drops a bit of the time now, going into turn one, easing off, just allowing that time to bleed away. Very close there with Kenny. Now a series of smaller groups now beginning to form. Nakazawa, PR120 and Goes to Sparta now forming this top three. As further back we've got Mellons, Kenny and the Black Sheep forming a second trio of cars, although soon to be joined by Adrian Rees and Warriors 10. Well, let us see if this can generate further competition for this leading pack. The more they battle, the closer this will get. And unfortunately a cut track penalty for PR120 there. I wonder what happened there. Unfortunately our cameras missed it, but I wonder if that's going to cost him dearly. He was right at the very front. I wonder if now he's going to have competition now from Mellons and Kenny. Kenny has come from the back of the grid. Whatever issues he had during qualification have not held him back through this race, working his way up from dead last to 5th place currently. Now, can PR120 bleed away that penalty into turn one? He can. Unfortunately, it's ghosted him out and it's given Mellons. Oh no! Into the inside wall goes Mellons, all out of sorts, taking opportunity where he could find one, and unfortunately not coming up trumps. That has cost him dearly, and PR120 in avoiding that accident, he has indeed lost time and grid position. Now, what does that mean for our teams further up? Well, Nakazawa now, a clear track, is his immediate contender, now dropping away, and GtSport now taking up that second place position. Now, here comes Kenny, fastest man in the warm-up. Unfortunately, not our fastest. Oh, and the black sheep's gone round! He's gone completely round now. Was he pushed, or was that an innocent mistake? To me, it looked like a little too much throttle coming off the exit, but I could be wrong. We'll have to wait until a replay after the race, perhaps. Malins there, trying to recover from his first turn one incident. Adrian Reese now holding a mid-pack position. Will this provide points for him? Almost certainly, but how many can he get away with? Now, Racebook now trying to send it around the outside into turn one. Will he get it done? Absolutely. Adrian Reese putting up a stalwart defence there, but unfortunately having to slot in behind him as the pace and power of that Lexus pushing through. Haven't spoken much about Ginger One so far. His Nissan GtR, not necessarily the best car on the grid, but he is making a fantastic effort of this so far and picking up the pieces where others have fallen off by the looks of it. So, good position for him to be in here. Can he make up some positions on Warriors 10 and PR 1 to 20 as the laps begin to tick away now? Nakazawa still out in the lead. It's this same 1, 2, 3 so far. An issue for Tribal at the back of the grid there. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Completely fallen off from the pack. There must have been some sort of technical difficulty for his car there, or a spin. Unfortunately, he is a long way off the pack, which is a shame. And Mark Verstappen here in a similar sort of position here, not having a good time of it. I wonder if perhaps there was contact further back. But working our way back through the grid, the Black Sheep now on a recovery drive, seeing if he can pull out some points from seamlessly nothing at the moment, as he's going to pick up minimal points for his championship contention. Any points scored on Swinny this round would be very helpful to his championship standings. Unfortunately, 10th place is not where he wants to be so far. Moving, oh, and that's another spin for the Black Sheep. I think he may have gotten inside his own head and pushing too hard on his recovery drive has looped it around again. Completely on his own that time. There was no mistake about that one, but I'm sure he will be frustrated about that one. Now, as I was thinking it, and as Black Sheep looped it, I was thinking the very thought that Adrian Reese here is falling back through the grid a little bit now, which is, I'm sure, going to frustrate him greatly. He was looking good in a sort of 7th position or so, but it's been gobbled up by Malins on his recovery drive. And Racebook now trying to hold him off. Now with that M3 pushed through to turn 1. Well, Lexus has got good power down in a straight line, but so is that M3, and they seemingly neck and neck. Malins looks like he's just got a nose in front, and that's going to be the inside line for him too. So, oh, potential for a switchback here from Racebook, who's making a good go of it. Nose to tail stuff here. I have a feeling that might be job done for Malins though. Oh, a small touch there. Let's just stay with these couple, as it seems to be fairly close stuff. Small amount of oversteer there for Malins on the exit of that corner, but holding it together, pushing hard. Racebook is staying with him, but does he look to the inside? No, he thinks better of it. Slots back in again. I wonder if that might mean... Oh! Malins seems to have made a mistake. Racebook is going to capitalise on this. Will he go around the outside? He will. Will he hold it together? Not the optimal racing line, but it's still quick through here. No, again, Malins manages to hold him off just enough. Another look down the inside for Racebook. That is ambitious. Unfortunately, Malins still staying ahead of him. Racebook absolutely pulling out every play in the playbook right now doing anything he can to get through. But let's work our way back through the grid again. Gen3a keeping close to this middle pack here. As there seems to be another incident for the GtSport. He was in second place. That's disastrous for his chances. Now what does this mean for further up grid? Gen3a now taking 5th place. Kenny, he was in 3rd as well. That seems to be a coming together of Kenny and the GtSport. Unfortunately, the cameras missed that one, but it seems to have set them back a long way. PR120, after his initial incidents, now putting a lot of pressure on Warriors 10. Fantastic recovery drive from him. Working hard now to retake his position. There's an issue for Warriors 10 there, seemingly not getting off the end of that corner, potentially hitting the gravel, but whatever the case may have been there, it wasn't ideal for him to get out of that corner. And this is all providing more time and space for Nakazawa as he almost cuts the track there, but he is away now. He has a 3.3 second gap, and I wonder if this might take the pressure off him enough now to get his head down and push on now, keeping those lap times very, very quick. Now there may be the odd chance of Tribal getting very loose there on corner entry, and as a result, corner exit, having a great deal of difficulty keeping that car on the road. I wonder if there may be a setup issue here that's not playing into his hands. Unfortunately, that is costing him greatly. And again, looking a little bit loose into corner entry there. I wonder if this is going to have problems for Nakazawa as he begins to close the gap on lapped cars. Let's hope that Tribal can get out of his way cleanly enough not to affect the race chances. As we go back through the grid now, Kenny putting pressure on PR120 now, as Warriors 10 seems to have dropped back a little bit. No longer able to hold off PR120, and seemingly Kenny getting through at the same time. So now we have two identical M3s battling for the second place position. Nothing between them at the moment. Kenny glued to the rear bumper of PR120 as he makes for the break for the outside now. PR120 hugging the inside lane, absolutely pushing Kenny to the limits. Kenny trying to take the racing line now. PR120 is going to get cut back on. Will he hold the right-hander though? Door-to-door action here. PR120 absolutely throwing his weight around now, and it pays off for him. Now the yellow flag further up ahead. This is the lapped traffic I was concerned about, as he stays nice and wide for Nakazawa to cleanly get through, but will second and third place get through just as cleanly, and will it affect their championship or racing chances? Kenny makes for a break for the inside now. PR120 holding the inside line though, and the lapped traffic is now in the way. Fortunately he's ghosting out, so this is going to work very well to second and third place as they can continue their battle without regard for this lapped traffic. Through the final sector, through the final corners. Oh, right on the ragged edge there for PR120. I wonder if that's going to give him a nice run down to corner one. He's in the slipstream now, trying to go down the outside, but Kenny is absolutely hugging that inside line. They go to the outside, door to door again. Kenny holding the inside line, but PR120's got the inside line for the right-hander. Is he through? He's done it. Absolutely spectacular racing. Frenetic stuff in. So, I wonder if that was a tap there. Was that contact? All providing more time and space for Nakazawa to just keep on edging out this lead. 4.1 seconds now. Oh, that's a long way off of PR120. Was he tapped on the exit there? That is going to cost him an awful lot of time. He's going to fall a long way back from the leader now, under pressure from everybody now. Kenny seemingly giving up the position there to the car he seems to have admitted fault to nudging off. but that has not played well for either of them. Everybody who had lost positions early in the race, Malins and Gen3a now spectacularly in second place now, putting his GTR right where it needs to be. But will the M3 now power through? On paper, the GTR should have the faster car, but unfortunately with the BOP, that doesn't quite work the way it would do normally. Unfortunately losing second place position here, but I think even with a third place finish, I'd be happy with that. GTR fighting in amongst the top ranks as Malins goes down the inside of him. Unfortunately not able to make it stick. Oh, and in the background there goes GtSport. Absolutely looping it. That will upset him greatly, I'm sure, as he was battling for second place earlier. Seems to be dropping further and further back. Now, further up the field, Malins trying to get past Gen3a again. Can he make it stick through this final sector though? Kenny with a spectacular run, even after contact and incident. And let's not forget, starting from the back of the grid, is pushing through now to second place and beginning to get his head down. See if he can start gaining on this first place car. GtSport absolutely running away with it. 7.1 seconds, 7.2 seconds now, and edging further and further and further ahead. Here on under 20 now. Another recovery drive. This seems to be a race of recovery drives as we come now to the closing stages of this race. Adrian Reese there in 9th place. Again, he could pick up the pieces here of some incidents further up, and so could the Black Sheep. He was fighting in the mid-pack, 5th or 4th at one point. He will be gutted to be so far back in the grid order. Now working our way back through again. Here we go. GtSport has shown the white flag. This will be his final lap. And with 6.4 seconds, which seems to have been chewed up a little bit by Kenny here, but I think that is a rather insurmountable task to achieve 6.4 seconds in a single lap on someone who seems to be absolutely nailing it lap after lap. Staying out of trouble, getting his nose into the front early on and pushing as hard as he can. Now then, can PR under 20 make up for earlier mistakes? He dives to the inside. Oh, I wonder if he just got a little bit too much power there. That's really upset the car. And unfortunately, he's lost more than one position there. Or not quite. Not quite. I thought he was going to lose the position to the GtSport there, but unfortunately, he's not quite made it through. As he dives down to the inside now, that is a very desperate lunge. PR under 20 might just have the inside corner. He does. I wonder if GtSport might have backed out there just on the basis of that he's made contact with the other car. Although a mistake there from PR under 20. Further up, let's just check on how the race is finishing. GtSport, as we predicted, absolutely leagues ahead in front. Kenny, Malins, the Gen3a will be absolutely overjoyed with that result, I would expect. Obvious backer there. PR under 20 and GtSport finishing where we were spectating them earlier. Adrian Reese, the Black Sheep, and further back, unfortunately, technical difficulties for Mark Verstappen and Tribal. Oh, as issues continue to blight Tribal there, preventing a clean finish. But absolutely blistering stuff there from the rest of the pack. That was recovery drive after recovery drive, except for this man who seems to have gotten ahead and stayed ahead. Now that gap at the end there was coming down at a rate of knots, so Kenny has obviously shown he's got the pace to do so. But I wonder if that's going to be a story we tell in the second sprint race. A real mixed grid there at the end as well. Lexus, BMW, and GtR, the top four. And there we are, we have the final race result. And a very well done there to Nakazawa. Gaining 2 positions there, as you can see on the right hand side. Doing very well for himself, even after what I think he will expect to be a rather disappointing qualifying session for him. I think he would have expected to be a little lower in the time, at least a little closer to the 117 mark. However, we will be now going into the first of our feature races, which will be the Toyota GT86, which will be a reverse grid of the initial qualifying, which means that PR1 to 20, Black Sheep and Nakazawa will be starting their race from the back. Equal cars, nothing to differentiate between them. It will all be down to driving ability. So as we watch Mark Verstappen trying to get reacquainted with his BMW again, I wonder how much track time he's had in this car to develop a racing setup and get some time on track to really get to know the track. Is obviously not happy with how things are going so far. We know he's a very quick driver. We've seen him in other championship series, so unusual to see him struggling as much as this. Again, there we see our race director informing us of the imminent setting change that will put us in our Toyota GT86. Excuse me. And there we are. So, to reiterate, this will be a reverse grid of the first qualifying session, those 2 hot laps we saw right at the very beginning, reversing that grid. Now, this plays very neatly into Kenny's hands, who unfortunately was not able to set a lap time. Now I wonder if that might have an effect on his grid position. In theory he should be at the front of the grid, however if he wasn't able to set a lap time, I wonder if that will also put him to the back. We will have to see. There we have a new selection of liveries to feast our eyes upon this time round. Again, let me just say that this is the retro livery round. Unfortunately, Mellors there seems to be just in a burgundy colour, but there are some fantastic liveries to choose from here. Obvious back of their sporting, shall I say, the Castrol livery. There we can see a wonderful pride flag on the top of the PR1 to 20's car. And is that a Golf livery I see? I have to wait until that car comes out on the track, but it'll be very interesting to see. on that, the laps begin to come into the timing screens. And as these drivers become more acquainted with the cars, we will start to see some pretty quick lap times coming from this GT4 variant car. Not a slouch of a car, absolutely. However, it will be a short race. It will only be 6 laps long. So there's not an awful lot of time to make ground if you are further back on the grid. And likewise, there's not really room to make mistakes, as these cars are fairly similarly spec'd. Nothing much between them apart from driver ability, really. We will expect anybody who falls off the leading pack to struggle to recover back up. You wouldn't believe it was a practice session, would you? As Kenny and Obvious Backer acting like this is the full-on race already. Obvious Backer going to the inside, not happy to sit behind Kenny for even a second. Testing the limits of these GT4 cars right from the very beginning. All good preparation though, as their race director once again informing us we are about to start. And there we have it. Not much time to get reacquainted with the car. And there we go. I'm not quite sure if that is a golf livery or not on the front there of Tribal 1981. Now as I suspected, Kenny, who had not set a time, unfortunately not able to go to the front of the grid. He has been put right to the very back. So, will this affect his drive? As we wait for green, and there we go. Away they go once again. Now, very little to gain at the beginning of this, as they are all so similarly spec'd. However, Tribal making a good getaway here as we go 4 wide. Further back in the pack. I'm not sure all those cars will make it through. Tribal, unfortunately, losing his lead position. Warriors 10 and Obvious Backer monopolising on the mistake. Now, further back. Absolutely wheel to wheel, 4 wide, 5 wide almost. Nakazawa getting pushed a little bit wide. He's had a fantastic start. So has PR1 to 20. They were right at the very back. Warriors 10 now, absolutely making a break for it. This seems to be a speciality of his. Feature races, short and sharp races, and absolutely making a break. Obvious Backer, Ginger One shortly behind, Nakazawa, PR1 to 20, and goes to Sparta. It's these 3 again. Alonso 1 there, and Black Sheep. Now he was starting at the back of the grid similarly to PR1 to 20 and Nakazawa. Unfortunately has not quite caught the same advantage that the other 2 cars did. But wasting no time now, getting into the slipstream of Malins, making a move on Mark Verstappen. Can he make a dive to the inside? No, thinks better of it, takes the normal racing line. Malins, oh, he's going to have difficulty, and who's that on the grass? I have a feeling that might have been Obvious Backer, yes. He was right at the sharp end and has completely fallen off now. Unfortunately, we don't know whether or not there was an incident or whether it was self-inflicted. However, these two, door to door once again. Let's just remind ourselves that these were on the back 2 rows of the grid. Our fastest cars from qualifying immediately 2 laps, or a lap and a half into a 6-lap race, and immediately at the sharp end. Now let's keep an eye on that time. That is almost a 2-minute flat, sorry, 2-second flat advantage to Warriors 10 there. Now let's see if these following pair can begin to make strides to reel him in. Not at this rate, not if they keep battling this hard. Oh, and that was Mallons going wide there at the final corner. Will he have picked up a penalty? Further back, the Black Sheep has. And that will not have done him any favours. Kenny making a recovery drive as well here. Adrian Reese, now he was one of those mid-pack cars as well. He seemed to have been caught out in the chaos of the early laps. Not able to take advantage of it. Black Sheep trying to edge away his disadvantage there with his time penalty, but further back, or further ahead should I say, we are 4 cars neck and neck in this chasing pack. Now unfortunately this is leaving more time for Warriors 10 to absolutely romp away with this. This shouldn't be happening, these cars are exactly the same. 3.2 seconds now, he's made up 1.2 seconds in a single lap. Oh, and that won't be helping anything. PR1 to 20 losing it, getting nudged a little by Nikazawa, and absolutely opening the door for the Ginger one there. I'll take that, thank you very much, he says. Mallons now closing in on the back, and GtSport is in. He's tucking away there. It's trying to. Again, Mallons is getting all out of sorts. Will that have cost him the position? It does. GtSport there. I was just thinking to myself, he's in a position to take advantage of any slip-ups further up the grid. And he's done exactly that. Now that's the screeching of tyres from Warriors 10 there, but further back, Change one holding up the charging PR1 to 20 and Nakazawa. Keeping it tidy-ish. Ooh, I spoke too soon perhaps. Giving a bit of a look to PR1 to 20 there as he looks to take a wide line, cutting back, but has that opened the door for Nakazawa? These three are matching each other almost corner to corner. Every time they look, it costs them a fraction of time, and every time that they battle, it's just costing them a little bit more tyre wear. Just giving more time and space for Warriors 10. However, I say that, he seems to have lost a little time in that final sector there. His original split was 3.2 if I recall. So that will not have done him any favours, but head down again, start putting in those clean laps. Further back in the field we have 6 or so cars here, forming pack number 2. And Mark Verstappen, Adrian Reese and obvious backer performing their very best in pack number 3. Adrian Reese now looking to make something happen here as I hear the clashing of cars against barriers, and I thought I did, and I was in fact correct. GtSport and Mallons there losing an awful lot of positions. Was that forced or was that accidental? Difficult to say, unfortunately. Let's make our way back through the grid again. PR1 to 20 seems to have picked up a time penalty there of nothing. Potentially a graphical glitch there as PR1 to 20 sends it down the inside and gets it all wrong. This has opened the door for Kenny now. PR1 to 20 trying to make his car as wide as physically possible, but with a speed differential of quite that much. Kenny was wham bam thank you ma'am and on his way through. pushing it to the very limits there, the Ginger one on that exit. Almost all four wheels onto the grass. Taking as much of that inside line as he possibly can. Can he make strides on Warriors 10 at the front here? Another time penalty for PR1-20 there. Begins to ebb away a little bit on that first corner. But he may have to do something about that before the end of the race, as this is the final lap now. Warriors 10 holding on to a clean advantage right now. The Ginger one will be delighted with a second place as well, I should think. Kenny and PR1-20, well, these two have certainly made up ground on their original starting position. In 6 laps, they've gone from almost dead last, Kenny certainly dead last, to 3rd and 4th. Now, I said to you this would be a race of not falling off that leading pack. And those that have, unfortunately, obvious backer, one of them, GtSport and Malins as well, they have fallen off the immediate battle at the front of the pack. And it has cost them dearly. So difficult to make ground again. GtSport as well, one of those that was making strides on the leading 3, looking for a podium finish. As we go back to the front, Warriors 10, Ginger 1 and Kenny in that order, followed by PR1-20, Mark Verstappen at the very end. Unfortunately not quite able to do it. Adrian Rees taking 7th, and Obvious Backer takes 6th. Malins taking 8th, GtSport 9th, GtSport 10th. Black Sheep there, he was starting from the back and he looked like he was going to make strides through the field, but didn't avail, unfortunately. Came to no avail. But a well-deserved finish there, a well-deserved win for Warriors 10. And picking up the Clean Race Award as well. Well, take a breath, ladies and gentlemen, because we will be heading straight back into another Gen3a race, or is the modified Group 3 category, specific to Racebook. But frantic stuff so far. This Sardegna track producing some rough racing so far. Door-to-door action from the start. And a number of incidents, both self-inflicted and, some would argue, controversial. Bumping, perhaps, in the overtaking procedures, but that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Getting your nose in, having a dive down, seeing how forgiving your opponent is, seeing if they can prize an advantage from almost nothing. As I expect our race director here to momentarily change settings once again. I wonder if this might just provide him time to confirm the race finish and begin proceedings for the secondary Group 3 race. And there we have it. Race director letting everybody know. So as you can see on the left there, these cars are limited to 611 brake horsepower. Some will be slightly under that, as the engines cannot be directly manipulated to be 611 brake horsepower, but they will be there or thereabouts. And the weight of 1396 kilos as a weight minimum. Of course, you can choose to be heavier than that if it suits you, but you cannot be lighter. As we return to the track, as our drivers get reacquainted with their Group 3 machinery once more. Interesting to see a Mondeo livery on obvious backers Lexus here. Not sure if that's some sort of Lexus Ford crossover, but we don't really mind as long as the car's on track. And a fantastic job that he's getting done of getting stuck in so far, so very welcome on the track. Now goes to Sparta here. He will be looking to achieve a better result than he did on the first race. He's obviously got the pace. So is this man. Given a clear track, able to gallop away into the distance. But will he see more pressure from other cars on the grid? Notably this man, seemingly the fastest gentleman on track. I think he was setting the fastest lap times in the warm-up, but can he convert that to a race win? It's going to be very difficult for him, considering he has not set a qualifying lap time. That will affect his chances throughout the entirety of the day's racing, which will set him back greatly. Just imagine what he would have done if he set a fastest lap time. I wonder if we see him battling with anybody. Very smart looking Red Bull livery here on this BMW M6. How is that a livery change there for Nakazawa? I believe it may well be. I have a feeling he has changed from the Rothmans livery to the Canon livery. And not only that, a Renault livery on a Lexus. So not to confuse you at all, that is in fact still a Lexus. And there we are. Straight into another race. I told you to take your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was it. That's all you got. Prepare yourselves for another resting heart rate of 100 beats per minute. This will not be gentle racing. Right at the very front there, Nakazawa hoping to get off the line nice and quickly. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5, and green! Oh, and immediately, Warriors 10 there having issues getting off the line. Now I wonder if he stalled out or had an issue, but that's cost him greatly already. Oh, and Mallon's far too deep into the first corner. It wipes out Kenny, who was right on the tail of Nakazawa. I think that was all the opportunity that Nakazawa needed, and he is going to get straight on. Oh, the ginger one's gone off as well. How unfortunate. He was looking... Oh, and again! More cars off. Red flag, red flag. Major incident. We are stopping the race. There seems to have been issues right at the very start there. Race director not happy with how things began there. I'm not sure what happened there. I have a feeling it may have been an issue with Warriors 10 had started things off, but we will reset back to 14 laps. Now I'm not sure what technical difficulties Warrior 10 had there. Seems to be going well now. I wonder what the issue was then. However, ignoring that, this man absolutely sending it down into corner 1. I don't know. Oh, I wonder if there's an apology there from PR1 to 20. I wonder if Mellons was pushed into turn 1 and dominoed into Kenny. Whatever the case may have been there, that was a little sloppy. Like I said, this was going to be gentle racing. I have a feeling I may have been right. Right, race director is happy that things are reset as they should be. As Nakazawa there showing his drifting skills and parking. Right, let's try that again. Once more with feeling, gentlemen. Now, I didn't realise this, but Kenny has taken his second place position rather than starting from the back. So this is a grid made up of the previous Gen 3's finishing positions as we go green. All away cleanly this time. 3 wide in the middle there. Kenny not such a great start, tucked in behind Nakazawa as he goes to the outside line. 3 wide behind him. Will it be clean this time round? Mellons not looking to make the same mistake again. Further back though. Trouble for obvious backer. Seems to be a cork in the bottle at the moment. PR1 to 20 taking to the outside line, but he'll have the inside line for this next right-hander. And gets the job done. Further back for Warriors 10 here. Got away cleanly this time. As things begin to take single file order. Otherwise I say that once again I'm proven wrong. Oh, and Adrian Rees there coming together with Tribal. Not what he would have wanted. He will not be pleased with that. Getting back on the road now. Trying to get his head down, see if he can put in some quick lap times as the black sheep looks to make a dive down the inside of Mark Verstappen here in the final sector and gets the job done very clean. Further ahead, Gen3a now trying to utilise the power of that GTR to get down the outside of the Warriors 10's M6, I believe that is. Keeping it nice and tidy. Will he have the inside line for the next one? No. Gets his nose chopped off there by Warriors 10, who says, I'm not having any of that. Still pressure from the Gen3a though, keeping it very clean, I say that. Almost onto the grass. Oh, and unfortunately he's just got a little bit loose there. It's allowed the opportunity for the Ghost of Sparta to come through. Is this going to open the door for the Black Sheep as well? That would be very unfortunate. Black Sheep looking down the inside. Gen3a giving him room. Very fair racing. Unfortunately losing the position as Mellons now looking to make a move down the inside. Oh, and got very loose. And unfortunately that has not paid off for him. Gen3a trying to keep it clean, trying to avoid the mistake. Getting through that final sector cleanly. Now will he have pressure from Mellons behind him? Further up the pack, Ghost of Sparta closing in on Warriors 10. Obvious backer Kenny and PR1 to 20s. Absolutely wheel-to-wheel stuff at the front. Not providing a clean getaway for Nakazawa so far. Anyone can take this race win as it stands. But PR1 to 20 will be desperate, I'm sure, to try and keep hold of this second place position. fend off the attacks of the cars from behind him and try and make headway into that first place position. However, we've seen before, Nakazawa, once he's got that clean track ahead of him, able to just put in clean lap time after clean lap time. So we'll see if he can do it again. Kenny now takes to the outside of the final sequence of corners. Trying to cut back there. Not quite room to do so. It's not really the... Oh, he's got all out of shape. Manages to hold on to it. But getting all out of shape through that final sequence of corners. Now as they get back down into single file, trying to take advantage of slipstreams. Black Sheep looking to make headway on 6th and 5th place. Yeah, 120 so far holding off Kenny. I do wonder for how long though. Both there or thereabouts, equally matched for speed and in the same machinery, so it's going to be a tall ask for Kenny to try and get past him. Yeah, 120 doing everything he needs to do so far in order to keep him behind him. Utilising all of the racetrack and then some more for PR120. As we check on things further back. Adrian Rees trying to recover from his earlier mistake there. Unfortunate for him, and Tribal still not quite happy enough with that car to keep it going in a straight line. With some issues there with the car, not happy with his setup or tyre choices perhaps, but whatever the case may be, not proving to be a dream scenario for him. However, talking of dream scenarios, Nakazawa still with a 2.5 second lead, nice and tidy through the apex of that corner there, utilising all of the inside and outside curves. Kenny now looking to make a move of some kind on PR120, although he's playing very defensively. Keep it to the inside now, trying to stop that cutback. Oh, I wonder if there might have been contact there. It looks like he's unsettled PR120's car. Do not be fooled by the Union Jack on the top of his car. An American driver, as you can tell by the flag next to his number. Kenny now trying to hone in on the back of that car. Brakes to the outside. PR120 tries to play defensively. Oh, giving each other enough room. Kenny gets the job done. Just not enough traction there for PR120 to stay on the inside of Kenny. Yields position. More contact there. Kenny getting a little loose on the grass. All this paddling is just allowing Nakazawa to break away from them. Now, what can the Black Sheep do? Very different machinery ahead of him. Obvious backer here in the Lexus, Warriors 10 in the BMW, and Black Sheep in the Subaru. What can he do with the very different machinery on offer? Getting in, tucked in behind Warriors 10's BMW. Not seeming to make an awful lot of progress. In fact, I think if anything, dropping off slightly from Warriors 10, who seems to have dived down the inside. A small amount of contact. And Warriors 10 gets the job done. Very ambitious look there from the Black Sheep going down on the inside of Warriors 10. It's unsettled the car a little bit and let Obvious back through again. Wonderful stuff as further ahead, PR120 and the Ghost of Sparta now battling for third place. Kenny seems to have broken away from his earlier overtake and is putting the pedal to the floor. Will this put pressure on Nikazawa as we are just over the halfway mark now? We have traffic just ahead of Nikazawa. I wonder if this will play a part again, as it didn't for the leading car, although it did for the following pack. So let's just keep an eye on our leaders' gap to second place. On the straight here, not much to say about the difference between them. However, through the corners, will Kinney be able to just chip away at that gap ever so slightly? Now, further back, Warriors 10 overtaking Obvious Backer. The Black Sheep still trying to monopolise on this battle, trying to get involved, but then having to back off to allow them to race. Not quite able to take advantage of their mistakes. Now that leading gap now only 2.1 seconds. That gap is tumbling, and I suspect by the end of this race there will be nothing between them. Oh, he's cut the corner! Will that have cost him time? Almost certainly a penalty. There it is, half a second. Not what he wanted to see, I'm sure. But can he, absolutely, as I was saying the words, can he edge away at that penalty before the end of Sector 1? Well, the answer is he certainly can. Easing off during corner 1 as we see the race leader now coming up onto traffic. Will this distract him? Will this lose him time? Well, not a lot, but a little, and this is certainly a race in the margins of thousandths and tenths of a second at the moment, as now Kenny gets the gap down to below 2 seconds, increasing his lead on PR120, who is now under pressure from the Ghost of Sparta. He makes a break down the inside. That's very ambitious, very ambitious. He's given the place back, I think. I don't think he wanted race control to intervene on that one. Just sorry about that, gives up the place. Straight back into racing again as we look further back through the field. 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th having their own immediate battles. It seems the Black Sheep has lost a position there to Malins, who was looming large in the background, ready to take advantage of a mistake. And speaking of ready to take an advantage of a mistake, Ginger One here now edging close to the Black Sheep. There's a penalty there for Malins. What can Ginger do to break round the outside? Black Sheep very fair. No, keeps his position. Good racing from between the pair of them there. Lots of respect between the two. However, Warriors 10 defending down on the inside. Obvious backer trying to come back at him with that Lexus power. Right round the outside there, not the optimal line. Will this provide opportunity for Malins to come back at him? However, let's get back to this leading pack. PR120 and Ghost of Sparta seeming to have got their way past the ailing Tribal. Not having a good day of it, unfortunately. Trying to do his best to stay out of trouble. not produce problems for the chasing cars. But what it will do is provide a nice tow for Warriors 10 here as he tries to break out the slipstream from Obvious Backer. Obvious Backer's got a nose next to. Will it yield and overtake? That's very difficult, but if you can hang it around the outside of this sequence of corners, you can get the inside line for the next. But unfortunately not so. Frantic stuff. As we go back to the leading pack, they're door to door. Kenny seems to have closed the gap between the two of them in seemingly no time at all. Now, was that an overtake I saw in the background? I believe it was. GtSport trying to break nice and late again, but not yielding a position as he cuts back on PR1 to 20. This is going to yield the inside line for him. Oh, almost nothing between them. But PR1 to 20 staying in third now as we go to the leading pair, door to door, down into turn one. Kenny takes the normal racing line, Nakazawa down the inside. Can he make it stick? Oh, inches between them, a small touch, but Kenny seems to have pulled off the manoeuvre. Nakazawa's still there, though. He's got the inside line. Oh, did he clip the outside barrier there? Nakazawa's going to take the opportunity to dive down the inside, but the cutback from Kenny. There is nothing between these two drivers. And Nakazawa cannot afford to fall off the back of this car. He needs that tow to keep in contention. Does not want to allow Kenny this clean, clear track ahead of him. Very ambitious dive down the inside there from Nakazawa. I think there was a mutual understanding there between the two drivers that that was not going to work had they carried on their normal racing line. Nakazawa braking more than he needed to, and Kenny going wider than he needed to, and I think in the end... Oh, and Nakazawa's thrown it off! Oh, I said he didn't need a mistake right now, he needed to tuck in behind Kenny, and unfortunately, the smallest of mistakes has left a 2-second gap between the two of them. Really not what he wanted. Really not ideal. As we go back to PR1 to 20, he has a clean track both ahead and behind of him now. But this chasing pack, not quite as clear cut. GtSport there getting very loose through corner one. Seems to keep it together. Hard braking into this corner, camber of the corner helping them greatly, although maybe not enough for Ginger, as the Black Sheep seeks to take advantage, taking a wider line, hoping to cut back perhaps that fast exit through this sequence of corners here. The not quite so straight, leading into the hard braking of this next right-hander. Black Sheep looking and looking and looking. Everywhere he looks, there is the rear bumper of a GTR. A small mistake again there, but it doesn't cost him much time. Will it get him out of line, though, for the final sequence? Is this an opportunity? He's got a penalty. Will this yield an opportunity for the Black Sheep to make a move? Final lap now for all cars involved. As it goes round the outside, he will have the outside for this next sequence, though not quite scrubbed off the penalty, and I have a feeling that might have been job done, although I could be wrong. He's now got the inside line into this next hairpin, and I think that may be job done for him. I thought it was sewn up for the Ginger one. Black Sheep keeping his car alongside and forcing the opportunity to open. Now back to the front of the pack again. Kenny breaking away. Mannon's there with issues. I'm not quite sure what happened there. He seems to have, I'm not sure, had a disconnect or some other technical issue, but that is job done for Kenny. Nakazawa picking up second, PR120 picking up third. As we go back down the pack, seeing where the battle is. This is not over and done though. The Black Sheep seems to have issues again, falling off the back of the ginger one, and Adrian Reese, is he there to pick up the pieces? He's all loosey-goosey for Black Sheep. This could be more than 9th place for Adrian Reese. Can he? He has. He's absolutely nailed the final sector and taken advantage where others had fallen off. Fantastic finish for him. I'm sure he will be pleased with an 8th place, considering he was struggling earlier in the race. Terrafit as well. I haven't spoken much about him this race, seeming to stay completely out of trouble, pulling out a 7th place finish. That'll be points in the bag for him. Warriors 10 in the midst of most of the battles so far. This Group 3 providing non-stop action. And there we are. Race victory for Kenny there. Going from second to first. Closing down the race leader, even despite his advantage. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is race 2 done and done. We have another support race coming up now, which is the Megans. We will take a short intermission and rejoin once the Megans begin. Sit tight, don't go anywhere. It's all going to get just as crazy. Well, welcome back, ladies and gents, as we now go to Feature race number 2. This is our Megane Trophies Cup. Again, similar machinery for all involved. It will only be driver ability to differentiate between them. As we once again get to a fantastic view of the retro liveries represented by all the drivers on track. I believe this is a Konica Minolta liveried car here for, I believe this must be PR120. Very keen to see that on track. And as before, the warm-up session providing seemingly ample time for these drivers to, well, begin racing. The long and short of it. Not wasting any time, Kenny putting his foot down again, and I believe it was with obvious backer again last time. These two not looking to find a clean section of track. Just going door to door straight away. Not sure how happy their team managers will be, or their pit stop crew, but I'm sure it'll all buff out. So, as we wait for our race director to once again give us starting orders. Get a nice look at these Megane trophy cars. Now I do say I do like these cars. Very aggressive looking car, even for such a small car. And Kenny there using every inch available of the track and not so track, feigning a move down into the pit box, probably giving his pit stop crew a heart attack in the process. So the ginger one at the moment setting the time to beat, although not a qualifying session for these cars. We will wait to see their pace later in the race. Let's see if we can catch up with a few cars we've not yet seen. Unfortunately, Adrian Reese's car, PR120s, and I believe trailers have not left the pit. Not much time for them to acclimatise to these very different cars. I'm not sure if these cars are getting all out of sorts. Some fantastic drifting work there as the race is about to begin. And let's hope all the damage buffs out nicely. So, reverse grid once again. Hold on to your hats, or whatever garment you happen to be wearing on your head. Your mind might be about to be blown. So as we wait for the lights, 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, 4 red, 5 red. Oh, there's a jump start there and another one, and green. Problems for obvious backer and PR120, which has caused problems even further back. not the start they needed. Now in a race where these cars are separated by very little indeed, not what they needed to have. A Black Sheep again not having the start he needs. Off on the gravel, what a shame. He has not had a good day of it so far. Tribal this time, unlike his former race. Oh, I was about to say had managed to get away cleanly at the front, but it was not to be. His Nescaf sponsored car really on the struggle bus now. Or as we should say in his French, Renault Megane's Le Struggle Bus. But as we get to the front of the grid, Nekazawa and Ghost of Sparta, there's contact there. Ghost of Sparta very ambitious on the brakes. I'm not sure whether that was by design. He seems to be very confident into that corner through the not so straight. But Nekazawa once again, oh, and getting the tail out absolutely sideways through that final sequence. That's opened the door there for Ghost of Sparta, wheel to wheel, and it's cost him a penalty as well for Nekazawa. He'll be kicking himself after that. Can he bleed away that penalty into corner one? As we look further back, it's almost single file, but then again, PR120 after his initial mistake, and obvious backer, they're right there in it. Oh, it's not going to end well, gentlemen. Two wide, three wide, then almost four wide. And I have to say, I love the Konica Minolta livery on this car. Very, very sleek. Moving back up through the field. Malins and Kenny door to door this time. We saw these guys racing earlier in the first Group 3 round. Here they go again. Adrian Rees now forming the cork in the bottle with his classic Samsung livery here. Trying to hold off Malins. Malins looks to the inside. Adrian giving him space. Will it cost him time though? It has. And will it give space for Kenny? It has as well. Well, the gentlemanly thing to do, Mr. Rees, unfortunately, that is costing you 2 positions. You can take the moral high ground, unfortunately, not the podium step. But 3, 4 more laps still to go. Plenty of time to work his way back up. Kenny and Malins going door to door again. There's opportunity here for Adrian and Mark Verstappen to be making moves on the pair of them. He's just got to keep it clean for now. As we go back up to the front. Once again, Warriors 10 showing that he is the driver to have if you are running a feature race series. These two drivers here trying to keep it clean. A small touch going into the braking zone there. Door to door again. This is opening the door for Nathan in his Warriors 10, in his Megane. Now I wonder if Nekazawa took a touch then. Would that be a penalty for him? Well, no penalty, or none forthcoming so far. But I wonder if he was pushed a little bit through that final sequence. As Ghost of Sparta looks to the inside. Can Warriors 10 keep it on the outside? This will pay dividends later in the corner. Ghost of Sparta back on the inside again. Very difficult complex to stay side by side in. But Ghost of Sparta there seemingly has the job done. Now let's not count out Kenny, who is charging through to, well, argue over a podium position, I'm sure. Max Verstappen, unfortunately, seemingly losing a lot of time there. I don't know if that was a mistake or just not quite keeping the same pace as the rest. But a nice job here from PR120 and from Obvious Backer after their earlier jump start, costing them time and positions. I wonder now if they would be happy with a 7th and 8th position finish after all that is said and done. Ah, yes, the Black Sheep not having a good day at all. Seems to be in the wrong place every time, and now picking up a penalty. I wonder if he's got inside his own head now and has unfortunately begun to lose track, or lap time should I say, sorry, and now positions, which is unfortunate there. Tribal now making a much better job, much happier in this Megane than his Group 3 machinery, although the Black Sheep coming back to battle with him. Fantastic clean stuff from the pair of them here. Round the outside, getting the cut back though. Oh, I think there might be contact. It's just taking the edge off of his speed. Stay with these two for the moment, although looks like second and third place is wheel to wheel as well. Oh, not quite so clean this time, but all staying on the track. I have a feeling that might be job done, and the Black Sheep can get his head down to start making time up. Now moving back up to these second, third and fourth place cars. Warriors 10 making a fantastic job of getting stuck in here in this podium battle. Goes to Sparta, dives down the inside, making a look. Kenny keeping it clean on the outside. Don't want to dip a wheel onto that gravel on the outside there. It will cost you dearly. Ginger one there trying to make moves on Mark Verstappen. Haha, nearly fell into the trap. An Obvious Backer has made ground on PR1 to 20. Look down the inside, lots of room given by Obvious Backer, but he's going to take the speed through the corner and fend off the attacking PR1 to 20. So as we return to the front of the grid, Nakazawa taking the race win. Second place, Nathan by the skin of his teeth, and Kenny in third. GtSport fourth, Ginger one fifth. Although I say that, sorry, I sort of glossed over the fact that the Ginger one had overtaken Mark Verstappen there in the closing stages of that race. So well done to him. Moving back, Obvious Backer fending off PR1 to 20 in the closing stages of that race, and the Black Sheep once again on the struggle bus, not getting the results that perhaps he would have hoped for, and picking up a 1 second time penalty in the process. But another well-deserved win there for Nakazawa. He is absolutely romping away with the win so far. Wonderful to see him doing so well at the front, producing some very quick lap times, but more importantly some very consistent lap times, and staying out of trouble, which is key to these feature races. Now with the Meganes done and dusted, we return to the final race of the Group 3As, the supercar variant of our Group 3s, specific to Racebook. as we return to the preordained power and weight ratios. Once more onto the Sardegna track as night begins to fall and the lights come on. Black Sheep here wasting no time at all, looking to start making some progress with this Subaru machine in the classic Subaru livery. I wonder if he just needs to stay out of trouble in this next race. Just keep his head down, produce some clean laps. I wonder if, though, that the trouble will find him rather than him finding the trouble. Not a great day for him. So mixed results so far for Malins. He certainly seems to be finding at the sharp end, although not quite finding his stride. But always in the thick of it, though. The ginger one in this GtR machine having a few surprise results so far. I think we were surprised to see the Nissan doing quite so well. I have a feeling ginger one was able to very heavily monopolize on others' mistakes, particularly in the first race of the Group 3s. Let's see if he can pull the same magic out of the hat this time. Obvious backer. Again, some mixed results from him so far. Seems to be in the thick of it sometimes, and then others not quite finding his groove. I wonder if this last race will redeem him. Nekazawa, arguably the most consistent of our races today. Always at the top end. In fact, I'm not sure there has been a race so far that he has not podiumed on, so correct me if I'm wrong, but he has done very well today. And as he is the championship leader in the Group 3As, I'm sure this will have done his championship standings the world of good as he romps away from his closest contenders. Goes to Sparta. Again, another driver who seems to be at the thick of it. Not quite producing a win yet, though. I wonder if he can produce something special in this last race. Kenny, arguably the fastest man on track, and if only he'd managed to get the machinery working during qualification, I wonder if we would have seen more race wins from him. Warriors 10. Keeping it clean so far. I'm not sure he's had many incidents or accidents, but again, not quite getting the win in the Group 3 machinery, although having much more success in the feature races. Seems to become a sort of speciality for him, that he is doing much better in the support features. Terrafit, a man who has so far stayed out of trouble, kept his nose clean, but I think we'd like to see the magic that we know he can produce. I hope we can see a little of that magic in this final race. Mark Verstappen seems to be on the struggle bus as well a little bit today, ignoring the fact that he's rolling backwards on the start line. He has not quite gotten to grips with this BMW and the Group 3 machinery either, so we shall have to see if last race changes things somewhat for him. Adrian Rees, our racer and part-time race director, again, he's been in a position where he's been fighting for decent points, not quite achieving the race results I think he would have wanted in some respects, but certainly in an opportunity to make up ground in the in the standings. PR1 here as well. Another car who just can't quite pull together a race win. I think it would be nice to see if he can achieve that on this last race. And another driver on the struggle bus today. Obviously doing much better in the Megans, although the Group 3 machinery doesn't seem to suit him. Let's hope we can change that as we begin the race proceedings on our final race for today. So, as Kenny lines up on pole position this time, I'm sure he will be looking to find the space and break away early, and I'm sure that Nakazawa will be doing his utmost to prevent that from happening as we wait for the lights. 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, 4 red, 5 red, a jump start for PR1 and green! That's going to cause problems for the rest of the pack! GtSport looks to take... Oh, there's a lot of problems further back there. PR1 not getting off the line at all. Nakazawa putting pressure on Kenny into the first corner. He's going to send him around the outside. Surely not. He has. Absolutely astonishing. Round the outside of corner 1. Kenny giving him the space, and Nakazawa saying, yes, thank you, I'll take that. Kenny putting the pressure on now, though. He's not happy about losing that grid position. Goes to Sparta trying to keep it in third, and Adrian Reese, the man I was talking about, not having the race position he wanted so far, finds himself in fourth. The Black Sheep now, what can he do in this race? Keep his nose clean is the answer, let's hope. Although as Mark Verstappen looks to the inside, sounds him a dummy. Problems at the exit there for Adrian. Mr. Reese being the cork in the bottle. As things shuffle behind him, he begins to get his head down as well. Black Sheep there making a look down the inside. I think that was on the very limit of staying clean. Getting into the slipstream, diving down the outside. Can he pull off a move that Nakazawa had only done it 1 lap earlier? Mark Verstappen, very ambitious. Oh, there's been a huge accident. Another disaster for the Black Sheep. Turned around again. Not a good day. I wonder if that might unfortunately result in a car retirement. Still stationary on track. No, begins to turn around. He's obviously got the car fired again. Not an ideal situation for him. How unfortunate. Terror hit there as well. Struggling, seemingly involved in that incident as well. And Tribal picking up the pieces. Now going back through the grid. It's the 4th, 5th and 6th position that seems to be causing problems again. Unfortunately, we've had either a disconnect or mechanical failure there for Terrapit. But I have a feeling that incident was all too much for his car and team. 3 wide as we go into turn 1. Mark Verstappen down the inside, obvious backer looking to make the switch back on PR1 although the position's not quite there to take. PR1 is not giving up on this. Dives down the inside again. Can obvious backer take advantage of this? Seems to have been contact there between Mark and PR1 and on the grass there for Warriors 10. Not what he would have wanted if he was chasing this battle. But further up at the front, 1, 2 and 3 right there together. I'm sure Nakazawa is defending for his life right now, looking to take another Group 3 victory. PR120 seems to have gotten past almost everyone there in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place battle. He's got the job done now and looks to break away as the battle rages on behind them. 2 sets of 2 into corner 1. Trying to keep it clean. It's very difficult to allow space on the outside line. Looks like a wide section of the track here, but under full racing speed, that gap closes very quickly. As these first 3 cars stretch out their lead on the rest of the pack. We'll see if more develops between the 3 of them. However, the racing is here in 5th place. Obvious backer. We know he can pull off the magic sometimes. Will this be one of those times? Nakazawa there, setting another personal best and so far best lap time. But again, he himself finding a bit of a gap now as the 2 behind begin to rather cut back clear for Mark Verstappen. Not quite working out for him. It's a very difficult section to try and make something like that work. The road closes in on you faster than I think it does. Changes at the track start creeping up on you as you put the power down. Warriors 10 making a good job of keeping him behind. Further back, 9th, 10th and 11th place having a battle of their own as well. Mallon's trying to look to make a recovery. Tribal getting very loose. Will this provide the opportunity for Mallon's now? I think there was contact there between the 2 of them. I think that's going to take the edge off of Mallon's advantage and turn whatever this is. And Mallon's gets the job done round the outside. As we return to 7th and 8th now, Ginger One putting pressure on Bakker. Look how fantastic these lights look in the dying light of the day. Round the outside, can he get the job done? Oh, fantastic manoeuvre. Absolutely on the limit. Obvious Bakker, nothing he could do about that. The sheer pace of that GTR sweeping past him and getting the job done. Not the nimblest on its feet, that Nissan. Let's hope he can hold off Obvious Bakker through the twisties as they get back onto the Notta straight. Back up at the front, things closing in between Kenny and Nakazawa. Nakazawa didn't have a sweat on before, I'm sure he will now. That gap's not quite coming down the way that Kenny had previously done in the Group 3s. Although he's got a slight run in him now, and he's giving him the old flash of the lights. I'm not sure how that will affect Nakazawa's speed or performance, but perhaps it's just enough to put him off his stride. Not quite hitting the apex there. He's lost a lot of time. 0.3 of a second, just edged away in that one corner. Not what Nakazawa would have wanted. Keeping to his line. Just enough to keep Kenny at bay. Wondered if that might be the move. Oh, a quick dummy there from Kenny. Keeping very tight to the apex there. I wonder if Nakazawa is beginning to show the cracks of frustration and distraction now. Nothing between the two. Can Kenny sit in the switchback? Again, this triple left-hander here. Not very easy to go around the outside of. You really need that inside line. Nakazawa once again slams the door on Kenny. How long for? There is another 6 laps of this, ladies and gentlemen. Down the outside he goes. Neck and neck for a moment. Kenny takes the lead. We won't have the inside line though. Late on the brakes for Nakazawa. Oh, will he get the cut back? Very difficult part of the track. Got to give space. Oh, that's close. But Nakazawa just about holding him off. Oh, and a mistake there for Kenny. I wonder if that was contact between the two. I wonder if Kenny just got his nose chopped off a little bit there by Nakazawa. I think Nakazawa thought perhaps he was already past and the job was done. Kenny was still there. I'm sure there was nothing malicious between them, but it is very close racing, and it is a race of millimeters between the two of these two drivers. Fantastic to see two different cars right at the very front of this battle. So we have a Lexus, an M3 and an M6 fighting at the very sharp end of the grid. Nakazawa's Lexus is the only non-BMW powered car for the next 6 places. So there seems to be a track well suited to the BMWs, or certainly as far as this round is concerned. Nakazawa now trying to hold the inside line, cutting off the nose of Kenny once again, doesn't want to give him the inside line back into this section of left-handers. Trying to keep it neat and clean between the two drivers. Kenny trying the switchback once again, not quite working for him. Will he send it wide through here to try and get the speed, pushing him round the corner there? Not happy to wait for Nakazawa. More contact, more bump drafting, down into this sharp right-hander. Who will be last on the brakes? Nakazawa getting the job done on the inside. Oh, Kenny getting on the gravel there. That won't have done his chances any well. And goes to Sparta now on his tail. Goes to Sparta. We haven't spoken about him much this race. He's just been plucking away in 3rd position, although if Kenny continues to make small mistakes like that, I wonder if there will be more to play for than a 3rd place finish. Now an opportunity for Nakazawa to get his head down, keep it clean, and set those fast laps. Fantastic seeing the brake discs working hard there in the dying light of the day. Almost single file for the cars behind now, not much in the way of battles. Sad to see a number of cars, as this one, the Black Sheep, retiring to the pit lane. Not what he would have wanted, not a great day for him, and not fantastic for his championship standings. But these front 3 have it all to play for. Not a lot between the 3, despite the fact that they are quite different cars. M6 and M3 very different by design, if powered by the same machinery. Very different looking vehicles and very different aerodynamics between the two. But Kenny now finding the draft on Nakazawa, sending it down the outside. Has he got enough to cut across the front? He hasn't. Nakazawa staying to the inside, trying to give space. It's very tight round there as that left hand, right hand, left hand comes to you quicker than you think you will. Goes to Sparta trying to get involved now as well, as lap traffic begins to play a part in this leading battle. Anyone could win this race. Kenny is absolutely desperate to get past Nakazawa here. Now, who will be the last of the late breakers? Oh, goes to Sparta once a piece. Sending it down the inside of Kenny. Kenny gets it done around the outside though. It's all fair so far. Jinking and diving all around the track, the three cars. Looking to try and get past this. Oh, it goes to Sparta's gone! He has fallen off the back of these leading two. That's a lot of time lost. I'm not sure he will lose a position. In fact, he certainly won't. There's a long gap between him and fourth place, but I wonder if that's his chance of winning this race now gone. Kenny sells the dummy down the inside. Looking for the cutback, trying to unsettle Nakazawa, but Nakazawa will not be deterred, will not be denied this race win. Stalwart defence so far. Kenny looking for every sliver of a gap. Chinking and moving from side to side just to try and put off Nakazawa from his normal racing line. Once again finding the line down the inside here. Nakazawa sticking to the inside. This has been the same sequence almost every lap so far. Oh, Kenny's managed to stick it around the outside. He's got the inside line for the next three left. This could be job done. Oh, Nakazawa will not want to have given up that position like that. With 2 laps to go. Oh, and now onto the grass. Not an ideal situation for him. And a penalty as well. I'm sure he will be able to lead away this penalty into turn 1, as most have done before. Slightly loose on the entry there. Is he trying too hard now? Keeping it clean, although I'm not sure that was the line he wanted. But again, it's more time for Kenny to break away, and he is doing so. Without Nakazawa to hold him off. He begins to get his head down and produce those blistering lap times we know he can produce. I think we have to give a round of applause to Nakazawa for holding him off as long as he did. That was some spectacular defence, and I'm sure if it had not been for that small mistake, and that was all it needed to be, but that small mistake in the turn 1, I'm sure they will be still battling for the lead, because Nakazawa looks to overweigh this penalty still as we go into the final lap. Looking further back on the grid, PR1 to 20 still plucking away in 4th, Warriors 10 in 5th. Mark Verstappen and Obvious Backer here now, having a battle over 6th. Nose to tail for these two as well, producing very similar lap times. Ginger one down in 8th, not his best finish so far. I'm sure he will be looking for more. There is one more lap to go, and anything can happen in these Group 3s. Adrian Rees, unfortunately, on his own, no one to race against here. And the same goes true for Tribal and Malins here. Unfortunate for the pair of them. However, as we go back to Kenny, as he looks to finish off this day of racing with another race win, I have a feeling that this is sewn up as the gap continues to grow. 2.8 seconds, 2.9 seconds, 3 seconds. Well, I have a feeling this is done and dusted for him. Nakazawa now has just got to keep it clean through this final sector to keep 2nd place, as I'm sure he will. And goes to Sparta, doing a cracking job of staying in tension, even with the mistake around lap 12 or so. But there we have it. Kenny with the win, Nakazawa in 2nd, goes to Sparta third. PL under 20 picking up fourth place and saluting his pit crew as he drives past. Very close in 6th and 7th, Warriors 10, Mark Verstappen and Obvious Backer, respectively. Gen3a picking up an 8th. Adrian Reese picking up 9th. I don't see any reason why Tribal cannot pick up 10th here. Good effort for completing the race, even with machinery that wants to defy him right to the very end. And well played to him for continuing on. Mallon's there, seemingly difficult conditions for him, or technical difficulties, but at least still running. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was your Racebook round at Sardegna. Congratulations to Kenny on another Group 3 Supercars win. And there we have it. All done and dusted. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for this rather exploratory commentary of the Racebook event. Let's hope it will be just as exciting and close racing on the next one. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.